to know Jesus. Our goal is to share Christ in every country around the world. You are welcome to join the movement that is touching the world. Let's reach the world together. Hey friends, thanks so much for tuning in today. Here at 1 Billion, we exist to share the good news of Jesus on mobile phones. And we do this every day in 192 countries, and many people come to Christ. So we're so thankful for you. Today is a new day, and God is going to speak to you. My friend, Pastor Andrew, has a great message for you. We are in the year of discipleship, and this sermon title today is called Making Sense of the Bible. So get ready. This is the Bible.
I grew up in a Christian home. As a teenager, I went to church. It became routine, but I didn't even know why I was going. After a while, I started to wonder who I was and why I'm here. It was at this point that I asked God, if you are real, show yourself to me. And He did. Now I know who I am and my purpose. If you ask God to show Himself to you, He will.
So my friends, this is the most amazing book in the world, but there's a problem with this book. It's very hard to understand. We don't know where to start when we read the Bible. We don't know how to make sense of it. We don't know what natural breaks there are in sections and what we're supposed to do with it. So we just feel like we're inadequate and we can't put things together in the Word. And beyond that, we can't even apply it to our lives, because how are we supposed to do that while we're highlighting everything and we still don't know what it means? We don't know how to interpret the Bible. We don't know how to understand this ancient text. But today, if you give me 20 minutes of your time, I promise you that I will shed a new light on the Bible. I will help you understand where you are in the Bible, what the purpose of that part of the Bible is, and how to apply what you're reading. I guarantee you this is going to be one of the most important 20 minutes of your life. This is from a message that I heard, and I've changed it around a little bit just to make it a little easier to understand. But before we get into how to do this, how to understand and break the Bible into manageable sections and to take that macro look over the Bible, let's talk some numbers. So first, there's one Bible, right? There's two testaments broken up into the New and the Old Testament. There are 6 sections, and that's what we're going to talk about today. 3 in the Old Testament, 3 in the New Testament, and it was written by 40 authors. There's 66 separate books, and it was written over the span of 1,600 years. And this is what I want you to know about the Bible. And this is something that you would say that it doesn't make sense. The Bible is the most modern book. The Bible is the most modern book. You would say, well, how is that so if it was written, thousands of years ago? Because the author is still alive today. Did you know that the Bible is just as true as it was when it was written? There's a false notion that a book as ancient as the Bible can't speak to modern needs, can't speak to where we are today, because in those times they didn't have computers, they didn't have social media, they didn't have these things. But this is what the Bible has to say about that. In Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9, it says, "What has been will be again, and what has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun." It's funny, we live in this such a short period of life, in this grand scheme of history, and we think that just because something's new to us, that it hasn't been there before. But the Bible says it's just a reoccurring cycle. The sun goes up, the sun goes down. The wind picks up, the wind dies down. After the flood, God said that those things will never change. So we have to understand that, and this is important, that we have as humans this unquenchable thirst for something new. But what you really need is something true. If it's new, friends, it's probably not true. If you're listening to the latest pop psychology, you're going to be moved by the wind and the waves, because there's nothing solid that you're basing your life on. The Bible is the only book that is unshakable. And why is that? It's withstood the test of time. It's the most intensely scrutinized book, and yet it still stands today. You see on the news channels, a house will burn down, and the only thing that didn't burn was the Bible, because God has His hand on His word. God is protecting His Word, and His Word is never going to die. It will continue for eternity. When you hold the Bible in your hands, you're holding a miracle in your hands. You know, the Bible has withstood all of those things, and yet it's the #1 best-selling book of all time. Think about that. There's no other book that has sold more than the Bible, and the Bible is in more languages and translations than any other book. That's why it's so important. But why is the Bible so special? Why should I care about the Bible? Why should I even read the Bible? Well, it sheds light on human nature. It tells us about why we do what we do. It talks about the world's problems and human sufferings. But most importantly, it reveals the way to God. And you know, the Bible also answers some of the most pressing questions that we all have when we're born. Like, where did I come from? Where am I going? Why am I on earth? Why in the world am I here? And what's the purpose of my existence? The Bible also helps us to get to know our Creator. And when we get to know our Creator, that in turn helps us to understand ourselves. So I'm going to help you break down the Bible in a way that maybe you've never seen before. So get out a piece of paper. On one side, it's going to represent the Old Testament, and you're going to draw 3 boxes. On the other side of the paper, you're going to draw 3 boxes which represent the New Testament. Now, that first box in the Old Testament that you drew is called the foundational section. Why is it called the foundational section? Well, it's the first 5 books of the Bible. These are called the books of the law or the books of Moses. This is from Genesis to Deuteronomy. So you've got Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And the purpose of all these books, they show God's principles, His promises, and His goals. So basically, God is revealing